of the greatest live bands that ever existed. And now, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of one of the greatest live bands in the world, all their time, yes. Oh, I grew up with this band. Let me tell you the story real quick, because he's not at his couch right now. I will stretch. And so when I first heard of this band, I was 12 years old. I was at a family reunion with Aunt Lisa, and Aunt Lisa handed me a tape. She says, "Hey, you like music?" I was listening to Guns N' Roses at the time on my tape player as a little child in the woods. And she's like, "Well, check these bands out. I go see them every weekend in Portland." And I listened, and one side was Heat Miser. Dead Air.
Wow.
Dead Air. Oh, yeah. I love that man. Elliott Smith. Yes. And so on the other side was this three-piece from Portland called 30-06. And I gave it a listen. And I have never been the same since. And so it is one of the greatest live bands of all time and one of the greatest recordings. They only had 2 albums, man. And then they disappeared off the planet. Drove me crazy. But I have seen one review from a Rolling Stone reviewer. And I think she summed it up quite eloquently, and I'm going to paraphrase. She basically said, "I go see all these live shows all the time. Nothing affects me, nothing phases me. I've seen people dance around on stage. When I walked into this, there was a power that I felt that I had never heard before. And I asked the maitre d', is this, what, you have 50 guitars on the stage? Is this some sort of event where you got all the guitar players to play amazing music?" They're like, "No, it's a 3-piece band." Yes, that's how amazing they were, and awe. And that person said, the Rolling Stone reviewer said, the best live act, top 3 live acts they've ever seen. This person has seen thousands of acts. They know what they're talking about, because live, I could not imagine how amazing this is. And so, let me just show you here. This is them. This is 30-06, a 3-piece. You have Sean. You have Ryan. There's Anglo-Saxon white men. Southern Santa would be very happy. But honestly, these men were actually very brave and foresight of creativity in Portland. They were on the cutting edge. Literally, people scheduled their weeks around their shows. This is what my cousin told me. They would go to school or go to night school or go to their job, and then they would find out when 30-06 was fucking playing, because we're going to that show. So yes, this band is legendary in Portland. So I would like to first, before I bring him on, I would like to play a video for you, just so you can understand who we're talking about here. So ladies and gentlemen, the greatest band on the planet that has ever existed, 30-06.
Chance to act on. I'm not a plot
good is that? Where am I? Where am I? Oh, my boner is enormous. Oh, it's the greatest band ever. Ladies and gentlemen, please, welcome to the show, wouldn't you? The one, the only, the guitar player that you just saw. Isn't he amazing? One of the greatest musicians of all time. And one of the founding members, the best bands of all time, 30-6. But so many more music than that. So much more than just 30-6. But oh my God, how good is that? Ladies and gentlemen, one, and thank you for being patient, Mr. David BLUNK.
Well, hello.
What's up, David?
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, I hear you fine. Do you hear me?
I do. Fabulous.
Hold on. Congratulations, my friend. That's still a banger to this day. I mean, it has lost nothing. It has lost 0% impact in 30 years. How? How do you do that? My first question, David, thank you for coming.
Of course.
Is how do you do that? How?
Work with people that are more talented than you. You know, it's John Goodmanson did a great job with that. And Sean worked his ass off on the vocals. So it was a lot of fun. I'm just glad it came over.
I mean, all right, so like you're being modest, but he's a living legend in Oregon. Everyone knows
I'm
this.
sorry to be subdued about the flattery. But yeah, it just, I don't know. John did a lot to make that sound great. So
yes, well, and David, so did you, and so did Ryan.
Of course I did.
You guys, like,
my brilliance was unsurpassed on that.
So in my bands over the years, I have often used David BLUNK as a reference. Would you like to know how and why?
Please.
So, you had a bass player who was the lead singer and songwriter in 30-6, correct? He was the writing force. Like the songs were sort of written on the bass with his vocals, and then this is what I imagine. Then you would come in and sprinkle your fairy dust at the top. Was that correct, or did I get that wrong?
That's it on some of it, mostly the second record.
Okay.
We would write collectively on the first one, but after that, not so much.
The Pink Floyd situation I sense going on here.
Yeah, maybe. You know, it just was, I think we were probably spending a lot of time together. And so we sort of split off on the second record, writing separately. And yeah, I wound up writing a lot of stuff that was over his stuff. And Ryan's as well, the drummer, who was fabulous. But yeah, Sean was a very gifted guy, and it was wonderful to be able to work with him. Learned a lot.
Yes. Yeah, I can imagine, but also this is like what you would say to, like, you know, the Jimi Hendrix band. It's like there would be no Jimmy without that band. You understand that, right? Like, well, yeah, I'm perfectly happy to be, what was it, the bass player in the experience. So this is what I tell. This is what I say. David BLUNK is sacrificed because your guitar skills are unmatched, but you sacrifice for the song. Always. And so every time I've ever met an artist where they're doing too much or they're not listening to what the song is saying, I have the discussion about how David BLUNK is a musician's musician and that he reminds me of a Mick Ronson. I don't know if you know Mick Ronson.
I do. Bowie player?
He's a guitar player. He was David Bowie's guitar player in the Spiders of Mars. But a lot of people don't know he was also a producer. And he did Jack and Diane. By what's his face?
Mellencamp.
Mellencamp, yes.
No shit.
If Jack and Diane's, if you would hear that song without Mick Ronson, it would start like this. Here's a little ditty about Jack and Diane. Do you know what Mick Ronson did? Dun, 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 dun. All that was
the
Mick
hook.
Ronson. Yes, that was what they hired Ronnie for. They called him Ronno. He was like the fixer. He'd come in and give you a hook. Another one I'll give you. Take a walk on the wild side. Do, 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 do.
Yeah. The bass?
All of it. The arrangement was entirely Mick Ronson. He got zero credit for it, didn't want any, And it only came out when the Ronson documentary came out a few years ago, and they were like, Mick made that song for us. We didn't have a song. He came in, he said, girls, do this. Do.
Wow.
He made the song. Yes.
No
and so
idea.
that is, yes. So that is what you remind me of, David Blunk.
Well,
You're
that's
a man
very
that
flattering.
commits. You're a man that commits to the piece of art more than himself. It's a sacrifice of all this talent, all these lessons that you learned on guitar, all these things that you could shred away. No. Let's draw people in. Let's make them love the song. It is a gift. And I like to recognize it. I like to take this opportunity, a fan of yours for decades, to recognize your gift, to add to the song, to add to the whole, to not be to give of yourself in a creative and a yes and way. You're Ryan Stiles. You know Ryan Stiles? He's like the best improv comic ever on Whose Line Is It Anyway? You could be like, Ryan, a fart. And he's like, yes, I did a fart. You're the best yes and. You're the kind of musician anyone would ever want to play with. And your writing and your songs and the way that you lay a guitar, one of a kind.
Well, shucks, thank you.
And I hope these demon teeth do not hurt on your testicles or shaft.
No, I was going to say,
I'm slurping hard, baby.
A little bit, that would be swell. Well, gosh, that's.
But I cup the balls at the same time.
You know, again, that was a long time ago, but yeah, sometimes it was better. Everyone else was doing something so good that sometimes I would just stop playing, and somebody, gosh, we were in England and with Mute, and we did some recording, and I was with the studio guy when we were there, and he was so it was so exciting to just be in a studio in England. But the guy was like, you stopped playing here. You had a crescendo, you stopped, and the absence of sound was really cool, which was wonderful to hear. But yeah, we did that a lot. Like, there's a thing, if you're really loud and then you stop, there's that weird thing with your ears where it goes like whoa, whoa. And
we call them in production in guitar stuff, I call them cliffs. Like you bring people to cliffs or you drop them off cliffs, like a cliff. It's like because you're either high and then you go into this weird new wobbly sound, or and who stole that from rock was EDM, right? Boom, 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 boom. That's exactly what happened in rock. It was exactly the same thing.
Well, I mean, rock is past. But like EDM, they also know the hooks.
It was an amazing time. Women loved us for our makeup.
It was a mythical, wonderful time.
It was mythical. Yeah. It will never
Giants
exist
walked
again.
the earth, and
it was. Yeah. Giant sea creatures. Oh my God, we'll never see their legs again.
I beg your pardon. Yeah. But it is fun to kind of play with that live thing where like it just hurts and then it stops and pulls back. It was the Pixies. Everybody did it. It was like having a goatee. It just was the style at the time.
Loud, quiet, loud, baby. Loud, quiet, loud. That was the style.
Yeah, well, like I'm quiet. Go like, I'm loud. I'm quiet. I'm loud. And God bless him. Sean really pulled that off. Again, not to keep going back to it, but work with people that are better than you. It's and that guy. Not to please ask questions because I ramble. He had only been playing bass. Gosh, he's a year younger than me. Was, for maybe 2 or 3 years, and he had this wonderful style that he was kind of playing it like a guitar, and then he was kind of playing it like a bass. And we had played in DC, and then I moved out to Portland, and I don't know, we had developed this Robert Johnson Crossroads style in the meantime. So he'd hit a chord and it was like a, you know, I don't know, let's say a major chord with like a drone on the D string. And I would just go, well, I'll hit a ninth or a seventh or something over it. And it would just have this wonderful, wonderful big sound over that, which was fun. You know, you make a huge orchestral chord with that distortion. So
Yes, specifically Hagfish, I want to jerk off every time you guys go into that heavy part. It is beautiful.
That was fun. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. He really go on.
The mix of the 7th and 9 chords, I don't think people understand. This music, it doesn't exist anywhere else. I've only heard like maybe 2 or 3 other bands in my history of listening to music that sounds like you're in the middle of like 90-foot waves crashing around you. And oh my God, what are we gonna do? Let's just take it in. And that's what your music sounds like. And I would say Juno and Hum. Those are the other 3 that I've come across in my life. There's others that come close, but those are the top. And others have different experiences. Pink Floyd touches me in different ways. Sufjan Stevens touches me into Elliott Smith in different ways. But as far as just leaving my heart stopping with multiple guitars, rock, those, you, Juno.
Oh, shucks. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I think to some extent we thought of ourselves as a live band. And so recording was a weird thing. I love studios. They're just fascinating to me. I think Ryan, the drummer, liked them as well. Sean found it difficult to sing without an audience there.
Yeah, he fed off of it.
He really seemed to. Yeah, you know, and you know, like I personally haven't had that experience. You know, like I don't play with my glasses on, so the audience is this distended mass of sound and vibe. Or, you know, you tell if they're happy or not.
You're locked in your own head. I was a singer in a band, and I was like, "Where are the titties at? Who's gonna give me some titties and cocaine?" That's what we're doing up front. Just so you know.
I stopped wearing contacts because I could see people's faces, and I was like, "Oh God, no!" But he really enjoyed that. He was a theater guy.
Yes, and speaking of which, I don't know, you know, how you feel about this, but I love it, and so I'd like to watch it with you, just because he was amazing. This is the last song I heard him sing, and it's very powerful. This is Sean Roberts. This is many years later. This is after he moved to LA, I believe, and then maybe after he even moved back. But I'm not sure of the whole timeline, but this is one of his last songs, and it's very touching. Sean is no longer with us, unfortunately, and one of the greatest losses in music history, and let's see why. Let's see why it's a loss.
Sentence and not just a jailer, then why won't he just let me die? Just let me die. I know I'm an atomic device. I know ice, air, and water are one and the same. But I've this obsession, I sense the procession
great Sean Roberts.
Isn't that a great song?
Oh, yeah. I mean, his voice
Oh,
is
right.
magical. I mean, the songwriting style, but that voice, the dryness, I almost hear like the DC, Virginia, Maryland in there.
Yeah, do you hear the drawl? Like there's a
Yeah. It's the best ever. I gotta say, like
yeah.
I do find little pieces of it here and there, but no one that ever did it like he did it.
What
Yes.
he could drop into this like old Virginia foghorn leghorn, like will I see, and in and out of it. And you know, again, as a person who had a background in theater more than he did in music, at least when he was younger, he just, I don't know, he was a dramatic guy. And you really get pulled into the emotion that he's trying to convey, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned earlier, when you're younger, it's something about like, you know, blaming your parents for everything and these kinds of post-adolescent things that might happen in your early 20s. You know, there was a lot of method acting maybe for him and us, you know. Anyway, what a swell guy. Miss him a lot.
I miss him too. But the great thing about music, I hear him every day. So I miss my grandpa too, but he ain't singing songs to me. So it's great that we have it. It's great
Isn't it great that we have recorded music in general?
It's the best ever.
It's the best thing we
Speaking of which, you're not just 30-06. I loved other music you did. This one right here is one of my favorites. Yes. Bastinados. Yes? Is that the name? Did I pronounce it right?
Let me find out. Oh, this actually is different.
What is different? Did I title it wrong?
No, this was a different, gosh. This was something that I did. It's like this, I don't know, it was something acoustic thing that I did. I forget what I even called it. Harem Arms. But yeah, I haven't listened to this in years. I've actually lost the recording, so
really?
Hit me.
This song is okay, so Bastinados was your other band though at one point, right?
It was. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I have that CD, and that CD is amazing as well.
Oh shucks, but no, they never
just
would
get them all,
do
people.
this. Yeah.
Get them
no,
all.
they would have said stop.
This reminds me of some early good Beck.
Listen to this.
Is that you singing?
Yeah.
David, you have a beautiful voice. This is an amazing. I have had sex to this song, David BLUNK.
Oh, sweet merciful crap.
It was just with myself, but it still counts.
But still.
Put on the scoreboard.
Huh. I haven't. Well, thanks for playing. I honestly haven't listened to that in a long time. It doesn't suck as hard as I remember it did.
No, it's amazing. And people, it is on my, it's on my page. So if you'd like to listen to the whole thing, please.
I would. I think
amazing.
I threw out all of my discs with it. Wow. But that was fun. Yeah. I remember, I think we had a stairwell, and that was actually people stomping on the stairwell in the house, and there were brooms going.
Dude, that's why that shit sounds so good, because it's so analog and so.
Right.
I miss
it. It was like the Oliver or what was that horrible Dick Van Dyke thing? Mary Poppins, the chimney sweeps.
Yes.
You know, like
yes, it did have the vibe of the chimney sweeps. I get what you.
Gosh.
Yes. All right, and David, I'm going to break something to my viewers here. We've worked on a song together. Can you believe that? COVID happened, and I reached out to David, and he was so nice. And I'm like, David, I'm doing an album about my father who passed. Can I get a guitar track? He said, yes. I was like, what a mensch. So thank you, David. And I'm going to play now 10 seconds of it, because gotta get mixed soon, and there's no vocals, but I just want you to hear what me and David have coming. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Here we go. Here we go. That's all you get. just a little taste.
I want more.
Just a little taste. I want more. That's what we want to hear. But I wanted to. It is an honor and a privilege and a pleasure of my lifetime to do a song with David BLUNK. And so I hope I do it. It's taken me years because I hope I do it. We're on a Guns N' Roses type of schedule with this song.
Wow, that sounded nifty. You squeezed the suck out of my playing. Thank you.
Wow. Man. How dare you? You're so good.
Well, no, false. Yeah, no. But thank you. That sounded fantastic. I again work with people who are more talented than you. Thank you.
Wow. All right. So the rule here is talented people, find yourself some modest superstars like David BLUNK. Because he will sit there and say, you're great, and then he will make your stuff amazing, and we'll take none of the credit.
Oh, shucks.
Where did he go, David? Don't go away.
I'm here. Are you weird?
Okay. No, it's all good. We're all good. Sometimes that happens. But the universe was saying, enough sucking David's cock, I think, is what they were saying there.
Yeah, I was
David,
shit.
Do you have any plugs? Where can people find you right now? If you want them to find you, how can they find you?
Well, on Facebook, my last band, Down Gown, has some stuff up. Oh,
Great
shucks.
band.
Thank you. There's stuff on YouTube. I'm trying to play more now, but I'm overwhelmed actually by the ass kissing.
Yes, I get deep in there.
I was gonna say, holy smokes!
I get really deep in there, Dave.
Hold on, no, I'm processing. I'm always a little bit behind.
You're gonna have a thing that feels like a hemorrhoid, but it's just the remnants of my teeth.
It could be.
It's not a hemorrhoid.
It's just, oh my goodness. It's just sort of tickly.
And I would highly recommend, David, that you check out the Dabbleverse. Just watch some Stuttering John content. That will lead you to some other things, and then you're gonna hate me. And I apologize for that, but you're also gonna love it.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yes.
I'm happy to have been here.
Yes, it's a pleasure. And would you come back? And
I would be delighted.
I have also
Can I ask
offered.
a question?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hold on, not yet. Turn your camera on.
Oh.
Be a big lady. Be a big girl. Camera on like a big girl.
I'm trying.
Oh, me?
Yes, you. You want to ask a question? Get the hell on screen like a big girl.
Okay, I'll be
Put
on.
your big panties on.
No, I took him off.
There you go. Now, go ahead.
Put him on top. Okay, good.
Like a big girl.
All right. So I'm curious, what was the first guitar that you played with live, and what guitar do you play now?
Gosh. I think, with that band, it was, with 30-06, it was SG, copy, and Epiphone. And then I dropped it at our first show being dramatic and broke it. Yeah.
Oh, Portland.
Right. And then I bought another Epiphone and put a nifty pickup by a company called Van Zant in Texas in it. And I loved that guitar. It was kind of this mishmash of different stuff. So yeah, it was an Epiphone SG. So yeah. Thank you for asking.
What do you play now?
I have, what is it? A Charvel something. I don't even know. I bought it from a friend. It has a lovely rosewood neck that, feels nice and stuff like that. But yeah, it was more about the neck. Everything else feels kind of veneery to me. And this has a lovely wooden kind of vibe to it.
Last question, David.
Please.
As you were talking, I thought about it. Once I was 15 and I was downtown, and there was a band playing under Burnside Bridge, and they were all dressed in white, like painters jackets, and they were playing Devos. Does this sound familiar to you?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Who was that?
Oh God, that was.
And was Elliott Smith in that band?
Yeah, he was.
I knew he was. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forget what they were called, but it was Elliot, Sean Krogan, Chris Lisarenko, and I think his brother or somebody else playing drums. But yeah, they did that a few times with like the outfits and the hats and stuff.
White outfits. I was such a kid. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, they went the whole shtick.
Yeah, and I didn't know that was Elliot. Smiths. I was watching.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
More reason to love that guy.
Yes, exactly. What a musician's musician. Really.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of musicians, I would like to thank David BLUNK for coming on the show. You have been amazing. I would like to get my fries out of here. Turn off your camera now so you can properly be a big girl.
Thank you,
so much.
David.
Yes,
Thank
David.
you so much.
And I have asked David if he wants to host his own music video show. He can here. That's what we're going to do. We're going to offer that.
I am seriously considering it. I'm kind of starting a list, and I'll run it past you. Light some candles and a pentagram, and
I will never study a list more ferociously than that when you come up with. So please get it together, David. I need more music in my life. I have a lot. I'm always looking for more. What are your influences? Give me them all. I will eat their souls.
Okay.
David, thank you so much for coming. Everyone.
Thank you for having me.
The wonderful guitar player from 30 but more than that, a friend and a hack writer,